Good afternoon, Alexandria Infante.
Hi,
It's a
how are
pleasure.
you?
Good. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Thank you.
I work with Turntable Magazine, and we've heard a lot of news about you as a author and your 22 series of books that are out. And so we'd like to just ask you a few questions about those books and your creativeness and everything.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and delve right in. So, why don't you tell us more about yourself as a person as well as an author? And I know a lot of people isolate the two, but I'm wondering, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that there's a connection, or
Oh, I totally feel that there's a connection. Me as a person, I'm in the teaching industry, and education has always been my love. I have five wonderful children. Four of them are in college. I still have one at home with me. And I think the teaching and the being the author coincide with each other because when I first started writing, I was 16 and I wrote a Shakespearean love story. It was a Shakespearean tragedy, and a tragedy in the respect that it was very bad. My friends got a kick out of it, but as far as the writing concept, it was bad. But it still sparked a love for me. So, and it's just that life gets in the way and everyday things. And so it's one of those things that you sometimes have to put on the back burner. And now that my children are pretty much grown, for the last couple of years, I've been able to really delve into it and write. And so it produced the 22 books.
wonderful? Was there a particular book situation or lack of something that prompted you to write in this field? And I know you're saying that you had to put it on the back burner because you had a family to raise and other life experiences. But now, since I say, or even in those experiences, was there something that was always there, prompting you that you need to tell a story?
Well, I used to read Laurel K. Hamilton, and I really loved her series because I liked what she did with her characters. She always made it as if it was a family with each, new character coming in. It still incorporated like this little family. And so I was reading one of those books one day, and then I was just like, oh, wow, I can do this. But I think what prompted me the most was the fact that when I read the paranormal genre, I never saw a person like me. I mean, I could go through book after book, but usually it was always a side character or a villain, but it was never the main character. So if I would say anything that prompted me to write, it would be the fact that I wanted to see myself reflected in the pages.
I think that's a very good place to start. And just to add on that, can I ask, why paranormal? Is there any particular reason why you favor this type of genre over others, being that you have that literary background, so you're most likely definitely versed in Keats and Byron? Why not poetry or some prose?
Well, I think my academic background helps me a lot in the writing, but I've always had a love for paranormal since, like I said, I was a teenager, and I used to watch this one show, so I'm telling my age here. It was called Forever Night, and you could say it had the Byronic experience in it because it was the unrequited love. You had the really hot vampire who was in love with a paleontologist, but they could never get together because of the fact that he was a vampire. So in that respect, the unrequited Byronic love, and it's always been there for me. I've always loved that genre.
Okay, and because you have that literary background, you don't venture too far from the academia or in your books, being that you do write historical.
I would say no, that I don't, because I love history regardless, and so the fact that I write the historicals, the thing that floats my boat is the fact that I can write about this, love story, but I can also incorporate all of this history as well. My take on it and how I feel like it should be used in that. So I feel like not only am I giving the reader an awesome love story, but I'm giving them history and I'm actually teaching them something at the same time. So it goes back to that teacher mode, regardless of whether I want to accept that or not, it still comes out in the book.
Mm-hmm. You also focus on making many main characters seek or be sought out by members outside of their own race. Is this something you do consciously or does it come natural for you?
I think it comes natural for me because of the fact that I am multiracial and my family is multiracial. We have this little joke that because of the fact that it is so multiracial, it's like if you come to our house on the holidays, it looks like you're at the UN. I mean, I have a Romanian sister-in-law, I have a Japanese sister-in-law, and so it's something that's with us regardless. So it's not like I focus and say, oh, I need to make this character black, I need to make this character white. It's just a natural reaction for me because of the fact that this is what I grew up in, this is what I know, so it's just a normal thing for me.
That's interesting. Would you say that because you do find this as something natural based on your experience as a multiracial woman, are you promoting that equality amongst races? Are you trying to blur the lines? What would you say your characters are trying to speak to?
They're trying to speak to the fact that true love knows no color. Mm-hmm. I think that there's still that misconception that you need to stay with your own race or something like that. But my whole point is to show that true love, when it's true love, it's pure, it's untainted until haters come in and make it that way. And so my focus is pretty much to show that there is no color for true love, and two people of a different race can get together and have an amazing life, love, whatever together, and that these type of stereotypes should be put in the past.
Wonderful. I think we can all learn something from that. I know it's hard, but do you have an ultimate favorite character? And why this character over the dozens you've created? Because, I mean, you got a lot of books going on up there. 22, if I'm correct?
Yes,
yeah, 22. So who speaks to you out of those 22, books or series of, stories?
If I had to say who my favorites would be, it would be Ariana and Sephiroth. Ariana because I feel like maybe subconsciously when I wrote her, she reflected me. I didn't realize that until a colleague read the book, and the colleague was like, this character is you. And I was like, no, it's not. And he's like, yes, her name is Ari, your name is Ali. Her name is Ariana, your name is Alexandra. And he was like, just the whole concept of the character is a reflection of you. I would say she has a lot of my traits. I didn't purposely write her that way, but I do more, reflect more on her. Mm-hmm. And then my second would be Sephiroth, and he's my white version of Prince, pretty much because he does anything and everything. He doesn't have a conscience, and in the concept of the book, he doesn't follow the rules, and he does what comes natural to him and what makes him happy. And so in that respect, I really like that because with this character I can go anywhere I want to because he doesn't adhere to any boundaries. And it's because he's a psychic vampire and he causes drama because he feeds off of that. But the character itself, he gets to do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. I think that's someone we'd all look up to, just having that freedom from constraint. So
exactly.
I can totally see him on screen. Would you talk about we talk about multiculturalism all the time in our blogs. Why do you find diversity important in your writing? I know, like you said, your characters are biracial or multiracial, so this is something that's very prevalent to you. So, one, why do you talk about it? Two, have you gotten adversity because this is a new up and coming, well, I would say not fairly new, but a genre that you feel may not get the attention it deserves?
Exactly. I feel like I talk about it and I write about it because I want it to be known. I mean, there sometimes, growing up in life for me, it was kind of hard. And I wanted these characters to stand out because for interracial and multiracial people, a lot of times in society, it's hard for you to find your niche. People want you to be one thing. They either want you to be this portion of who you are or that portion of who you are, and they don't want any mixing. You need to pick one and stick with one. So for people like us, it's very hard. And so what I wanted to do was showcase these characters who are multifaceted, who have these interesting lives and just, go through the bumps and bruises of life, but they're interracial or they're, multiracial. And I've gotten a lot of, adversity because of it. I've had people send me emails like, white should stay with whites, black should stay with blacks. I mean, stuff like that. I even had publishing companies actually tell me that I needed to make Ariana one race instead of making her multiracial. And then they would think about publishing me. And I've had, African American readers say, well, why does she need to be light skinned with, green eyes and fair skin or red hair or whatever? And so the thing is you write what you know. And so by me being multiracial, I write what I know. And this is what I wanted to see showcased because you don't see it enough.
Mm-hmm. And I think definitely you are one of, the pioneers among a few others that are putting that out there to notice that there are these coexisting races. And just to add on that, I recently went to an exhibit at the Edinburgh Photography Museum, and the main topic was multiracial people and how that is dominant and it will be the new generation. So I think, looks like yours are just paving the way,
Exactly, because I feel like whether you're the darkest African or the palest Caucasian, at some point you are not pure. There is some other race mixed or mingled in between that. So no one, especially nowadays in the 21st century, is one single race. So I just want to be able to showcase that and show that, this is acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Many find that self-publishing is one of the more effective ways to promote diversity in novels, regardless of genre. What is your opinion on diversity in traditionally published novels versus self-published ones? Because I know I read a little bit about your blog. You did go with the publisher, and your experience was pretty horrific.
Yes, it was. I don't think interracial romance gets the spotlight that it should. I mean, people are jumping on the bandwagon now, but what people don't seem to understand is this genre has been there for a while. It's been at least between 5 and 7 years. The thing is people, they see shows like Scandal and these types of shows, and then they think, oh, well, all of a sudden, boom, all these interracial writers, now they want to be writers. No, we've always been here. It's just that we don't get the spotlight like the rest of the genres. And so I think that, playing it up finally, or actually recognizing us, even in the small spotlight that we've gotten so far, is a good thing. As far as publishing companies are going, they're still a little leery when it comes to interracial romance because the majority of the time it is either a black, Latin, or Asian woman with a Caucasian man. So you still have that little animosity there. As far as being, Latin and writing, people look, I've had publishing companies look at my last name and then the fact that my characters speak with an accent, because I'm sort of an accent whore. I love accents. So my Din speaks with a Scottish accent, and then my vampires are British, so I write the actual accent. And I remember she sent me a rejection letter. I won't say the company, but
well, you can. You don't have any loyalty.
She sent a rejection letter, and one of the things that she suggested was that I take an ESL class.
Oh,
and
wow.
being a teacher and a tutor and all these things for as many years as I had, I just thought it was hysterically funny. But that's a stereotype that she assumed because these characters had accents that it was Spanglish that I was speaking. And so, as far as the traditional companies, they still have those rules and regulations that half of the time rip people's manuscripts to shred, and it's like you're looking for your characters in your books, and you're like, where are they? And so I think the self-publishing platform works for people like me. I mean, I am still with that publishing company because they still have the rights to that book, but I feel like it's more lucrative to us because then we get to be the writers that we want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like your books have really taken off now that you are self-publishing. You have those creative freedoms to, let's say, if you change your covers if you want, and put them where you feel that they will soar in the marketplace. Are there some in particular that you sell your books with that we should know of?
Well, I'm through All Romance, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, and Google Play.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that would definitely be, those are all very popular marketing places. So, in case, readers that don't have all her 22 books yet, hey, now you know where to go. Is there any particular author who you feel gets diversity rights? I mean, you did mention Scandal, and yes, she wasn't the first. You really bring in that multiracial relationship, and although she's helping put, quote unquote, you guys out there, was there someone in particular that comes to mind?
Well, no, because like I said, we have been here for a while. It's just that there's so many different now sections or genres of interracial romance, because you have the contemporary, you have the paranormal, and you have the historical. So no one author just jumped out at me because it's sort of like a collective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like you're one of the collective.
Oh, thank you.
That's pioneering. So, that's great news. Good stuff coming our way for us readers and people that enjoy those types of genres. So finally, for those of us who are anxious, which is all of us, of course, where can we go, like we said, to find everything on Alexandria Infante? So you already said Amazon, you said Barnes & Noble, you said Google+, you have a Facebook page, you have a blog site?
I have a Facebook page, I have a blog. Basically, if you go to the blog, which is www.alexandriainfante.blogspot.com, if you go there, then you'll be able to find, all the books. Actually, you can see the books. You can read a little excerpt from them, and pretty much just all the information for me is on the blog. And I have 4 websites, one for each genre that I write, because I split the paranormal, because I write Fae, which centers off the myths of Loki and Odin and Lulin. And then I write the regular paranormal, the vampire, werewolves. Well, that entire series, the foundational myth is Isis, Osiris, and Sekhmet, and Horus. So, mythology is wrapped into all of these books. So you can find the historical, the paranormal, and the contemporary all on the blog.
Wonderful. So, readers out there, lovers of Alexandria Infante, now you know where you can find her. And I just want to say it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as well.
And I wish you all the best with your books, with anything else you're doing, and future movies. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.